Okay. Before we go on with all that we are supposed to be doing, I'd like to use the opportunity again to say a very, very big thank you to our host, the most esteemed Victor Akinot, for a platform like this, giving us, each and every one of us, the opportunity to be part of something great like this, to get an opportunity to understand what the cyber field is all about. And we are all preparing for a great conference, and I hope each and every one of us is excited for it. It's going to be coming up shortly, and we all have to get ready for it. So over from the beginning of the week, we started with Dave, and Dave was teaching us about what cyber was all about and some key principles. And then on Wednesday, our class on Wednesday was primarily about what you do as a cybersecurity personnel. Today, we are looking at something different. Today, we're going to be looking at the different cyber careers that are existing. So we are going to see each and every one of those careers. And beyond that, when we are done with all of that, we are going to look at how we can assess risk and determine if we should address an issue or not. We did see that there are several ways we can address an issue. We can either choose to accept it, ignore it, or maybe transfer it to somebody else, depending on how we categorize or value it. So we saw that in our last class. Then we also saw from our last class what the difference between a vulnerability, a threat. We saw the difference, what a risk is. And we said a vulnerability is a weakness in a system that can be exploited. We now say that a threat is an exploitable factor, or a factor that can exploit a vulnerability. And we use the fact, for example, if you have your car, the fact that your car is open, the open door of your car when you're not there, or your lower is down, so your window is down, that is a vulnerability. But now a passerby who notices your window down becomes a threat. And then we say that the risk is the loss that one can incur if the threat decides to act or take advantage of the vulnerability. Then we now have a risk. And we also made it clear that without a vulnerability or without a threat, there is no risk. We made that absolutely clear. So for there to be a risk, there must be a vulnerability and there must be a threat actor before there can be a risk. We said that. So having established that, we also concluded yesterday by looking at some threat actors, and we saw different kind of malicious actors and their intents. We also saw from yesterday's class, we're also able to see the different kind of malwares. We saw viruses, we saw worms, we saw a Trojan horse, and we saw the different ways in which they affect our system. We ended up by saying that humans are the greatest firewalls because we can hack systems, but we can also hack humans. So you can defend the system as much as you can, but if you don't train the humans to defend themselves, the system will still be vulnerable. And we saw that one of the greatest and most effective way to compromise any system was through social engineering. We saw that. And we saw the different kind of social engineering attacks that are there. And we said social engineering was simply the exploitation of human weakness to access data or access a system. And we said that's because humans are first and foremost trust personalities. They want to trust everybody, you know. And that tendency of wanting to trust people we just meet, or people, that tendency of to want to connect to people, creates a vulnerability in itself. And we saw the different ways in which phishings have been done to attack systems, and we saw the different kind of ways. Okay, so we saw for phishing, we saw that there was spear phishing where we target a particular individual. We saw vishing, which was the target of an individual by voice. Okay, by voice. We also saw the target of an individual, simishing, which was targeting an individual using SMS communications. Okay, we saw all of that, and then we said we look at all of. By the time when we finish our class today, I'm going to show you a few phishing attempts by emails, and we're going to study the characteristics and see how we can identify that. But let's not start our class with that for now. For now, we are going to start our class with what we are planned to do for today. Today, we are going to be looking at cybersecurity careers. We are going to be looking at risk, and we are going to be looking at the legal landscape that comes with cyber profiles. Let me know if you can see my screen, please. Thank you. I just shared my screen. If you can see my screen, kindly let me know. Okay, thank you, Angelo, for that. I'm grateful. Okay, so now that we each can see my screen, we can now go on and begin our discussion for today. As usual, we are going to look at what our journey for today is. What are we looking at today? Our journey for today, the first part, we're going to look at the world of security. We're going to explore the six, eight security domains. And we are going to also, secondly, we are going to think like a defender. Yesterday, we thought like a malicious actor, and we saw how they did their attack. Today, we are going to think like a defender, the art of risk management. Then after that, we are going to look at the rules of the road. If you are going to be protecting systems, you're going to be working to defend people. There are rules and regulations we must abide by. Otherwise, we get ourselves into trouble. We're going to be looking at what all those rules are and some of those laws, okay, and how they impact. We're going to look at the most strategic key laws that have crippled organizations. Just recently, two companies in China, one was fined $38 million and another one was fined $102 million for security violations by some of the bodies you're going to be seeing. So you may be doing what you're doing, just enjoying your life, running your business, having your money, and then suddenly somewhere one morning, some people just show up on your doorstep and then they tell you that your business violates this law, and so we have been fining you this, or somebody just show up and he's suing your business. Meanwhile, he just wanted to buy something for $5. Now he's suing your business for millions of dollars. We don't want that to happen. So we got to understand some of these things. And then we are going to see how you can put what we are going to look at today to work. Remember, education is useless if you cannot improve your day-to-day life before it goes to anyone else. Okay? Are we ready? Can I see some reactions? Okay, good. So let's start with what cybersecurity is, which we saw. We said cybersecurity from yesterday was all about protecting digital information, assets, and systems. And we saw why it mattered. It mattered because we are protecting people. We are enabling people to go through their day-to-day life in a safe world. We want, apart from using guns and things moving around, we have now resorted to using digital space to attack people. So we are like police protecting people. And if we are going to be very good at our jobs, then we are going to have to work together to accomplish that. So what are the 8 cybersecurity domains which you are looking? So this is a brief slide telling us about what those 8 domains are. So the first domain is security and risk management, asset security, security architecture and engineering. All right, sorry about that. So the third thing is domains. The third domain will be security architecture and engineering. The fourth domain will be communications and network security. The fifth domain will be identity and access management. We'll look at security assessment and testing, security operations, security development, and then software development. And then we're going to see where each falls. Now, what are security domains, by the way? You're asking, you're wondering, what is the security domain? Now, in every country, we have what we call ministries, where each person identifies with one or more of these ministries. For example, I started off my career in the health, in the Department of Health. That's what they call it in the US. In Cameroon, we call it Ministry of Health, where I worked as a laboratory personnel, and I did laboratory sciences. That was my primary training before ever getting into tech. I was never always in tech. So I was in laboratory personnel, and that was one domain. There are people who are in business, there are people who are in law. You get to wake up and identify with one of these fields. You go to school, you come out in one field. So that's exactly what cybersecurity is. Cybersecurity is so broad that you can't get to master everything. At the basis, you learn a bit of everything, but you're finally going to have to choose one of these domains that will stand out for you, and then you pursue it. At the beginning, most of us don't even understand what the field holds, but from the class of today, or the time we are finishing, something should stand out for you. That's what we're going to be looking at. And right away, we are going to look at the first domain, which is security and risk management. And security and risk management is all about defining security goals, managing risk, ensuring compliance, planning continuity. So relatively, it is made up of the management rules, GRC analysis. GRC is governance, okay? You talk about governance, and then you're talking about compliance, regulations and compliance. GRC, governance, regulations, compliance. That's what it's all about. Okay, so what do security and risk management? This domain is all about, like they say, it's a management. So this implies security managers, technical managers, those who oversee teams, oversee departments, those who ensure that companies follow regulations. So there are internal regulations and policies and frameworks and controls that are internal, which the company takes and builds from globally recognized compliance. So we want to be sure that if the government says that this amount of data should be handled this way, somebody in a security and risk management department ensure that the company is following those standards and ensuring that the company doesn't get fined. It doesn't get flagged for miscompliance or for violating laws. That's your job. So that's what this domain is. So you're going to be working in management, you're going to be working in setting policies, you're going to be working in regulating the work that cybersecurity do, determining what happens to people's data, how people's data is managed, how the company deals with the data, how the company treats resources, how assets are being disposed of, all the policies that the company follows in terms of regulations. That's what you're going to do. So this department is all about quality assessments, okay? Quality assessments, management, control, and that. The second domain is asset security, and asset security is all about protecting information and assets across their life cycle. Now, what is an asset? An asset is anything that is deemed of value to a company. That's what an asset is. Anything you can deem of value. So if you look like you, for example, your asset could be maybe your phone right now or your laptop right now. Your asset also could be your computer, or it could be your house, it could be your asset. So anything that could be of value. Even intellectual property, okay? If a company is working on creating a new car model, that design is an intellectual property, is an asset. Your responsibility is to protect those assets. Here we have data security analysts who protect the data of the company. We have cloud security engineers who protect the digital space. We have infrastructure specialists who work on the infrastructure, securing infrastructure. Even in this domain, we have people who work in a physical space, not only electronic, okay? We have people who are ensuring that the right people are having access to the right information. We want to be able to show that when the company no longer needs an equipment, it's not just disposed somewhere where somebody else can pick it. You know, growing up, we used to go and buy something like akara, and you go to buy akara sometimes, and then you come back after you're eating your akara. You're looking at the wrapping, and then you're noticing this wrapping. It is somebody that I know's birth certificate. You're wondering, how did the person's birth certificate get there? Suddenly, maybe some office got those documents, they never wanted them anymore, and the person gave these women who are by the roadside selling whatever they're doing, and now somebody else buys information. So you are supposed to ensure that if an information is no longer required, it is properly disposed of. You don't just drop hard drives everywhere. Like we said yesterday, if you give me a hard drive, I can retrieve information in it, even if it was formatted. And you'll be wondering if it was even formatted in the first place. So I understand how memory works, and we can always trick it. So your responsibility is to make sure that assets that are being purchased by the company are properly secured in good working standard, and there are no vulnerabilities attached to them, that when they are being used, they are being used correctly, and when they are no longer in need, they are destroyed properly. That's what this domain is all about. Okay. So that's what asset security is all about. Remember, asset is anything of use. So it could be data, it could be documents, it could be endpoints, that devices. Okay. Anything of value, that's what you'll be protecting. The third security domain is security architecture and engineering. And in this part, like it says, it's an architecture and engineering, meaning that you are focused on designing and building secure systems and networks. That's what this is. So you are going to be designing the system that other analysts are going to be protecting, other analysts are going to be using for security work. So in this department, you're working about building technology. That's what you are doing here, building technology. So the question is, what are the jobs here? You have security architects, okay, and you have security engineers, cloud security architects, okay. So that's what, yeah, it is. So most often there's a difference between a cybersecurity analyst and a cybersecurity engineer and a cybersecurity architect. They're not the same thing. Those are different roles. Okay, they're not the same. Okay, so that's what this domain is. Domain number 4. Domain number 4 is communications and network security. Here, we are securing the path that data travels across. Remember, everything is network. You're able to hear me now over a network. This communication through Zoom is being protected by a communications and network security team. They monitor the network, all the data that moves across the network. They protect the network. And here you have network security engineers, you have firewall analysts, you have wireless specialists, all of this. So that's what their job is, network technicians. They all work in this domain. And they are going to be monitoring network logs. They're going to be monitoring packet transfers to make sure that dangerous packets are not entering the system or not entering the organization, and there is no data exfiltration. What is data exfiltration? Data exfiltration is the illegal exportation of data from a company by an unauthorized person. Okay, sometimes you may, because what they normally do is there's a base protocol that is set, and base monitoring using some security information and event management systems. Okay, SIM tools, we talked about them yesterday. These SIM tools are used to monitor the network, and we can tell when the bandwidth increases or when we have abnormal activity over the network. Okay, you are receiving alerts, and maybe some IDS or IPS system. We saw that yesterday, intrusion detection system and intrusion protection systems, okay, prevention systems. So you are being alerted that, oh, we are using unusual bandwidth today. So you investigate the event, okay? That's what they do. Security engineers build the network, of course, and then a firewall administrator is the one who configures the firewall. And we said yesterday that a firewall is it can be a physical device or a software, okay, which is configured as to what or should be allowed across the network. So you can configure a firewall to not allow certain data from certain places from the world from accessing. You can configure a firewall, like for example, PayPal. There's no PayPal in my country, Cameroon. And the reason there's no PayPal in Cameroon is because the service is being configured to make sure that it's not accessed from here. There are some applications like you can download, you even search for it on Play Store, it will not even exist. And somebody is telling you that it's there, but why can't you see it when you're accessing from here? It's because the system is tracking the IP address of your location and is protecting access. So it cannot be accessed. So you go to access the website is not there. You are looking for the website. You are trying to load. They tell you that you don't have, that you cannot access the server. You're wondering, but I have internet. Why can I not access the server? That's because your IP address is being flagged from by the system. So you're going to be responsible configuring all of that. You can also configure your own network system in your house to as to allow some certain devices. You know, one way to prevent yourself from being hacked is configuring your own firewall with an allow rule instead of a reject rule. If you protect your system with an allow rule, you can configure who has access, and anybody who is not in the list of addresses that can access your system are blocked. Though we can also spoof mark addresses, okay, it's possible. And that is not part of our class for today, but we can look at that some other time. Okay, domain number 5, identity and access management. So it's all about ensuring that the right people have the right access. Okay, that's what we say, identity and access management. So if you're involved in this, you'll be having jobs like I am analyst. I am means identity access management, IAM. You'll be hearing that a lot. I am those who are even doing cloud engineering, DevOps, you'll deal with this a lot. Okay, identity engineers, you have access management specialists. Okay, so what this does, what your day-to-day responsibility will be, is granting access to people and monitoring access. Okay, maybe you get an alert of somebody repeated password errors or repeated wrong passwords. You're going to be alerted. If the person knows his password, he should not. If you're getting repeated password errors from a particular user, it begins to highlight possibly maybe it's not that user, or maybe the user he has been locked out, or maybe the user is trying to access the result that they don't have permission for. So you're going to be configuring who has access to a file. For example, a marketing team sits together to discuss on a new marketing project, and then after that, responsibilities are shared. The files that were created during that time, you want to make sure that the only people who have access to those files are people who are actually working with them. And if somebody stops working with a file, you want to make sure that you revoke the person's access, so that there's no case in which somebody mistakenly shares data they don't have access to. Okay. Now, there are some applications where you go to, you have like in schools where I work, Atom, stop writing on my screen. Take your hand off the annotation pen. Thank you. All right. So you want to ensure that, like I said earlier, I was trying to say that I work in education too, and one of the things we do, we use what we call the learning management system. In the learning management system, we have teacher accounts, we have student accounts, we have parents accounts, we have administrator accounts, we have finance accounts. So the fact is, somebody who is in finance can access finances, finance resources, take care of fees, take care of tuition, take care of registration. A teacher can access the students who are accessing that course, access the course material for that course. The teacher can grade a student. Imagine that you configured a system where a student has access to the grading system and can grade himself. That is going to be trouble. Imagine a company where the driver can log into his system and then can access payroll information. That is going to be catastrophic. Imagine you are a security team, and then a customer who is, you're part of a shopping agency where people buy online, and then your customer can access the pricing, can actually access the pricing database to affect the pricing. That's going to be a problem. You want to make sure that the customer can change the pricing. He can only pay what he's seen. He cannot modify it. Imagine if somebody could create himself a free coupon on your website to purchase an item. That's going to be trouble. So you see, identity and access management is extremely important, and you want to make sure that these things are working properly. So yeah, you want to check if whoever the identity or whoever is accessing the system. So yeah, there's something we call the AAA server, which is uh your authentication, authorization, and accountability. There's a server like that which works with this, the AAA server. We discussed that in another class, but I'm just saying here so that you understand that here the first A, which is authentication. Authentication identifies and verifies a person. Then authorization chooses which resource should be allocated to that person because of his authorization level, because of his authentication level. Okay, like a student will have access to assignments and course material and to submit, but cannot have access to grading. That's what we call authorization. So you choose what. Then the last thing is accountability. You want to be sure that you can track what the person who has successfully been authenticated and authorized has done. Okay, and we do that so that we can do what we call non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is a concept you hear mostly in cyber. Non-repudiation means that you can't deny that you have done something that you have actually done, and you cannot be accused of doing something you're not done. For example, if I send you a message, I cannot come later and deny that I didn't send that message. Because when we get to networks and you're looking at packet analyzers, you see that when a packet leaves, it has an address or an identity or where it's coming from and where it's going to. So me that sent it, I cannot deny that I did not send it. And you that receive it cannot deny that you did not receive it. You see, imagine if I could send money to somebody and then the person tell me they have not received the money. There's a system to track that. That's called accountability. So that's what IAM is all about. Okay. Remember, you have a question, just take it down. Okay. You're going to address all the questions. Domain number 6. Domain number 6 is security assessment and testing. And here, your responsibility is straightforward. Everybody knows this one. You are going to find vulnerabilities and verify controls. Okay. Your work here is you are thinking like the bad guy. I didn't say you're the bad guy. I said you're thinking like the bad guy. A disclaimer: a hacker is not an evil or a malicious person. That's not who a hacker is. There are 3 kinds of hackers. They are ethical hackers, the ones who have the right to hack a system. Okay. They are unethical hackers. Okay. These ones are ones that hack your system for no malicious gain. Okay. Without permission. Then we have malicious hackers. These ones hack your system to cause harm. So you see, so depending, it's just like money. You can't say money is bad. Some people say money is evil. I don't know where they got that from. Money is good. I love money. Okay. So money, the concept of money is in whose hand it is found. In one hand, it is for good. In another hand, it's for evil. Okay. So that's what hacking is like. So as your job in hacking, you have penetration testers, or what we commonly call hackers. We have vulnerability analysts. Now, there's a difference between a penetration tester and a hacker. They're not the same. Penetration testers are penetration testing is just one of the toolbox of an ethical hacker. Okay, but you can specialize only in penetration testing. An ethical hacker can use penetration testing principles and methods to carry out his job. Okay, it's just one of the things that an ethical hacker does. An ethical hacker is foremost a penetration tester. Okay, so we have vulnerability analysts, we have security auditors, all are part of the security assessment and testing domain. So here, your responsibility is to test a system. For example, in Google, we have what we call a red team. The red team is responsible for offensive security. That's what the red team does. That we call offensive security. So Google has a red team that continually hacks Google. Nathaniel, please. I have muted you, and in order to prevent anybody from unmuting themselves, I'm going to make sure that no one has permission to unmute themselves. So if you need anything, just raise your hand. Thank you. Okay. So we are talking about the red team. We said the red team is responsible for testing the security controls of the company. And I'll use an example of Google, saying that Google has a red team. The Google red team continually hacks Google with every update. As soon as an update, a patch is available, the first people to have access is the red team. They hack Google. They hack Google to protect Google from hackers. So how does that work? So these people are part of the team. They hack Google so that they can find any vulnerability. So if I can successfully find vulnerabilities and gain entrance into the system, I can now give you a detailed report of those things so that you can now fix them before the wrong people finds them. That's the responsibility of an ethical hacker. An ethical hacker hacks the system, but not to cause harm. I say it again. An ethical hacker hacks a system not to cause harm. An ethical hacker hacks a system to secure the system. So you're going to, when you're hacking or you're doing a penetration testing, probably using tools like Metasploit, what you're doing is you are finding vulnerabilities and you're going to be documenting and reporting these vulnerabilities. So your report is going to be used by the blue team to secure the system, and then you're going to test it again to be ensure that everything has been proof. Okay, like we said here, that penetration tester, that vulnerability analyst, and then we have security auditors. These people ensure that the company, just like we saw with the risk management, to ensure that everything, every controls and every policy has been adequately followed in the implementation of the security architecture or the security posture of the company. Okay, then we have what we call domain number 7, which is security operations. Security operations here is about monitoring, detecting, investigating, and responding to incidents. So security operations is what we will normally call the blue team. Okay, so these people, they are always checking if they are under attack and how they can stop it. So the intrusion detection system, the intrusion prevention system, and the endpoint security and response tools all send reports to the blue team. The blue team, you can be divided into several teams. Okay, we can have a SOC team, which is part of the blue team, but it can be in a separate department. So what Okay, sorry about that. I had to check that up. Okay, so we're talking about security operations and the blue team. We said a blue team can be divided into several sub-teams like the SOC team, okay? You can have an incident response team, you can have a forensic team, okay? So these teams are just sub-teams, but you can still have everybody in a single team, okay? For companies that are not that large, okay? So their job is to continually monitor. Remember yesterday we said security is not a one-time thing, it's a continuous thing. It's not a one-time thing where you just say that you set everything and go. No, every day they're monitoring. We have tools that are actively monitoring. Okay, we are that what we call SIM tools. Okay, SIM tools are built to continually monitor the system and send alerts to the security team. The security team now goes ahead to investigate. When it investigates, it can choose to pursue, to respond to the incident or flag it. And we said most of these reports, we have false, we have true positive response. That is when an alert comes in and the alert actually was because of a security incident. Now, we have we have true positive, that's true positive. We have false positive, where a system detects an anomaly when there's no anomaly. Then we have a true negative, in the case where you don't receive a report because an alert because nothing is happening. And we have a false negative, when there is actually something happening and your system does not detect it. And that's the most dangerous one among all of them. Okay, so and again, in terms of talking about alerts and positives and true positive, true negative alerts, you should always ensure that you monitor your system. It's better to receive more alerts than to not receive them. Okay, so if you're choosing to get into security operations, you're going to be part of the blue team. Okay, and practically there are most people always say there are two teams: red teams, blue teams, and that, so you get to choose yours if you're part of this or you're part of defense. Number 8 is the software development security. And here you're looking at how to integrate security into the software development lifecycle. Okay, the software development lifecycle, you get to study it for those who are part of the software development team, security. Here you're going to be working with the software development team. So you are a security analyst, but you are part of the development team, and you're here to ensure that those who are writing codes or those who are programming, building the infrastructure are actually following security principles. Okay, they are following security principles and building this security into the software development lifecycle. Remember, security is not a thing that is done at the end. In the software development lifecycle, security is at the beginning, during development, and at the end of development. You're going to be testing the system. When the plan is being made, the first stage of the software development cycle is planning, of course. So during the planning phase, the security engineer is there to ensure that all the plans and infrastructure that are being planned, of course, have taken note of the security posture and the security policies of the company. And there's also somebody there from risk management who's ensuring that the compliance that is being followed, depending on how data will be managed, data will be stored, data will be accessed, all of these things. So you see, every part of the software development lifecycle has to do with some sort of security domain. So you're going to be working in the software development lifecycle for maybe companies out there, and you're going to be seeing something like application security engineer, secure code reviewer, DevSecOps engineer. Now, this DevSecOps is for those who will be working with the DevOps teams. So you're going to be monitoring the CI/CD pipeline. The CI/CD, that's continuous integration, continuous development, and continuous deployment. That's what happens to application from the moment they are coded to the moment it gets into the hands of the user. There are several things that are being done. Most of this process is automated. So for the continuous development, the code is being shipped out to a production environment, but it gets to the user by manual authorization, manual review. But for continuous deployment, immediately the code has been programmed and shipped out, it gets to the end user automatically. Everything is set up. You get to see how some of these. So those who will be working with DevSecOps, you work with things like Google Cloud Services, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure. Okay, I had an opportunity to be part of a DevOps program earlier, and I got to work with AWS and understood the architecture. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to work with a software development security. Okay, and this pathway is mostly followed by DevOps engineers. Those who want to get into DevOps engineer, cloud architecture, cloud security, that kind of thing. That's where you get to. So those are the 8 systems or the 8 roles that are there. So that ends the first part of our lecture today. I hope you were able to, you're now clear with the different domains that are there, the different jobs that are there. And, from what we have discussed, you should have been passionate, I'm sure, somebody. So right now, just put in the comments, what appeals to you? Which of these domains appeals to you the most that you've heard? Just put in the comment. I'm going to be reading some comments. So just put in the chat. Let me know which of these is appeals to you? Which of these do you think you're most likely? Oh, domain 8. Someone says you're going to be joining the blue team. Okay, that's soft. Angelo says 3. Okay. Penetration tester, Israel. Okay, that's nice. Oh, security assessment and testing. Wow, that's DMZ. Jessica says the red team. Okay. SOC analyst, domain 7. That is nice. GRC, that is first domain. Okay. Domain 6 again. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Oh, Moses says he's going to asset security and security operations. Oh, okay. Security engineer. Okay, that's wow. Architecture and engineering. That's nice. Penetration testing. Sam, that's good. Israel talks about penetration tester. Bug bounty. Oh, now bug bounty, a penetration tester is involved in bug bounty. Okay, let me explain what bug bounty is. Bug bounty is not, it's kind of like a freelance. Okay, so most companies don't want to hire penetration testers on their team because they don't want to be paying them continuous salary and stuff. So what they do is that they create what we call a bug bounty. A bug bounty is like a contest, okay, where they put out there and they tell the team, they say, if you hack our system, we are going to pay you this amount of money. I think Apple did that about 2 years ago. Apple did that and it was $2 million. Apple was paying $2 million for any person that could hack their system. So you see, that's what bug bounty is. So bug bounty, they create a software and then they put it out on the bug on as they put it out as a bounty. You try their system. If you discover any bug and report it, they pay you for it. So that's what bug bounty is. I'm sure Israel now you are clear on bug bounty and that. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you understand Israel. Janet says SOC analyst, understanding attackers techniques and investigate incidents. Okay. That's nice. SOC analyst is good. Analyst, you join the blue team. That's nice. All right, that's nice. Thank you. All right, so we can get on with domain 2, with our second part of our class. I'm glad that everyone understands what we have been discussing in the last 50 or last 45 minutes. I'm glad everyone got it. Now we are looking at the second part of our course and we are going to be thinking like a defender. And what that is, so what we are going to be looking at now, we are looking at the core of this mindset is understanding and managing risk. We're going to be looking at the concept that apply across all 8 domains, all 8. No one is left out, okay? No one is left out. So what are we starting with? So we are going to be looking at what then is a risk, because that's all what cybersecurity is. All of it is about risk. That's all about security. We are looking at vulnerability. We are looking at risk. We are looking at threats, and we want to protect. Remember, we are the good guys. Okay, we are the good guys. Never forget. Don't go and join the bad guys. Don't say somebody like me taught you and you became a bad guy. So go and join the good guys. So if you are going to be protecting, what are you protecting from? Risk is the potential of loss. We saw that yesterday. When a threat exploits a vulnerability, there is going to be a risk, a potential. And risk is calculated using a formula. It's called the likelihood times the impact. And the goal is to reduce risk to an acceptable level using informed decisions. Okay, that's where the risk management comes in place to help us with policies and compliance levels so that we can know. Remember, you cannot 100% eliminate risk. It's impossible. Don't even dream about it. You don't say, oh, I work in a security team and we don't have any problem. If you don't have any problem, then your company is not anything, okay? I used to tell people that I tell people that my account I've been hacked a couple of times, actually. Yeah, I've been, like seriously. Though I'm been notified and I've recovered it, but there've been attempts, okay? But I still get control over my systems. Like I said, if you're nobody, nobody will bother you. If somebody bothers you, then you are somebody. Hmm? So like people used to say, well, I don't know, they keep talking about me. They keep doing this. They do that because you are somebody. If you don't want anybody to bother you, be a nobody. Okay? So if you stay for a while and you're not getting any bothers, nobody is threatening you, nobody is saying things about you, everything is just okay. Even the devil doesn't bother you, you are in trouble, actually. Yeah, remember the devil cannot bother his own now. If the devil troubles you, mean that you're doing something marvelous on the other side. Yeah. Okay. So let's come back. Oh, my username on WhatsApp. My username is my name now. The very same name you find here, the same name you find on my username. My name is everywhere. I use only my name. I don't use nicknames. Everywhere you find my name, Philemon Tabufor. Everywhere. All platforms, one name. All right. So we are looking at risk. What is likelihood? What is impact? Okay, let's say I have a house. The likelihood will be the potential of an attack. The potential that a system can be attacked, a potential that the system can be infiltrated. That is likelihood. And when it comes to likelihood, we usually assess it as either low, medium, or high. But in calculations, since we are doing calculations, likelihood times impact, we cannot say low times low. Mathematically, my calculator will say error. So what you do is we now say, okay, from low, we equate it to 1. Medium, we equate it to 2. And high, we equate it to 3. So the likelihood of occurrence can be 1, meaning that there is a very low chance that the system will be infiltrated, or a very low or insignificant, or we say that the possibility that my house is attacked is 0. Then we say 1. Okay, the likelihood is very low, is 1. I have a dog out here, it's called Mellow. Mellow ensures that the possibility of the house being attacked is 1. It cannot be 0, it's 1. So Mellow makes sure of that. All right, so if there is an app, you are absolutely certain that a system is going to be attacked, then the likelihood is 3. 3 is red. The same with impact. Okay, the impact, what impact will, provided that the vulnerability is being exploited, what impact will it have on the organization? There is low impact, medium impact, high impact. Okay, if it's negative, you're looking at 1 will mean that there is little to no impact. I mean, like if you steal my car, it doesn't mean anything to me, then the impact is 1. Okay. But now if you steal my car and then I am crippled or I have a heart attack, the impact is 3. Oh, you can't take anything from me and it means anything. I'm just kidding. Okay. My mentor has trained me to understand that even if you take me and put in a desert with nothing, I will still become me in very little time, because I am not what I have, I am who I am. All right. Okay. So that's what likelihood is. So likelihood times impact. So if a likelihood of an event occurring is 3 and the impact is 3, then the risk becomes 3 times 3, which is 9. If you have a risk value from 6 to 9, it's supposed to be addressed immediately. 9 means urgent, like critical, must be addressed like now. Okay, like right now, right now. So what is the risk management process? The first thing in the risk management process is to identify the risk in the first place. To identify the risk, so we need to, how do you identify the risk? You must analyze, okay? You must identify, so what could go wrong? If you identify the vulnerabilities and the threats, okay, maybe a server that could fail, a phishing attack could go on. If I have a little bank, for example, I could say I have a database, the bank could be hacked. If I have remote employees, I can say, okay, the employee could accidentally delete a file. Those are identifiable risks. Now we need to analyze the likelihood of the risk. Okay, that's analysis. We do the analysis, we calculate the likelihood, calculate the impact. We get the risk score. When we get the risk score, we now, from the risk score, can then decide how to deal with it. How to deal with it. And we saw yesterday that there are different ways. There are 4 principal ways actually. One of them is to accept the risk. In the case where the impact or the loss is less than what it will cost us to fix the risk. Okay, if what we are going to lose is going to be less than what it's going to cost us to fix the risk, we could as well just leave it. Okay, that's one way. Another way that we can do it is treat the risk. Okay, treat the risk. If the impact is going to have is far greater than what we could spend to fix it. Hello, take for example your car has an issue. Oh, you want to fix it because, like they say, better to walk on 2 feet than to drive in a car with only 3 good wheels. So you want to be sure that you change that wheel before something, the irreversible happens. Let me call it that way. Okay. So you got to treat the risk. And then after doing that, you need to monitor and review again if actually it is fixed and what else is there. Like I said, it is a cycle. The risk management process is a cycle. It goes on and on. After you identify, you analyze, you treat, you monitor, you review, you identify, you keep doing it continually. You don't stop. Each and every day, month after month, year after year, you keep doing that. That's why every day we're having new updates on WhatsApp. WhatsApp has released a new update of this, because somebody is continually monitoring, reviewing, and reporting to the security team, and they're continually fixing, and somebody is testing again, they're monitoring, they're identifying, they're analyzing, they're treating, they're reviewing, producing new one, and on and on and on and on. Okay. So these are the 4 T's of risk management. First one, you tolerate, you can tolerate. You can treat, okay, that's to mitigate. Mitigate means to counter effect or counteract an effect. That's what it means to mitigate. You can transfer. Transfer means that you can outsource to someone else, okay? If I find a problem and I can't handle it myself, I can choose to outsource it to an external security team. Okay, like penetration testing, if you ever get to look at the red teams and their work, you understand that there are 2 ways to do it. There are internal and there is external. Okay, where you're testing the system from within the network, or you're testing from outside the network, which is far more better, because from outside the network, you're just going to be assuming that you're like a hacker, because the hacker is not inside. Okay. Another one you can do, the last thing you could do is terminate or avoid it. You can avoid the risk. That's one way. Okay. So this is literally what a risk assessment track looks like. And here for a risk assessment track, so it could be green, meaning that the risk is very low, or it could be red, meaning that it is critical, like now, has to be attacked right now. So what you're going to do is this. What you're going to do is this. In your handout, I want to assume that I posted the handout, like this is 3 and 2. That should be over 5 hours ago. And I want to be sure that I'm sure, and let me not say I want to be sure, I am sure that everyone has downloaded the handout. That's why today exercise I did not put in the lecture. You need to start communicating and interacting in the group, okay? That's why the groups are created. Be part of the community. Don't just be quiet. Well, if I write something in the group, I want you to respond, and respond in the quickest way. So I posted the notes for this class, not like after, like I did yesterday, I did before, so that you could come in with your questions. So in the notes, you look at the 4th page of your notes, you have the career mapping exercise there. That's what you're going to do right now. That's what this risk assessment is all about, okay? So I'm actually looking at my own notes. You're supposed to be looking at yours, okay? It's in the group. You're supposed to be looking at yours, unless you are telling me you haven't seen again. For those who are just joining in, it says, I would like to address some important points regarding promoting a class. This. Okay, you can write me on WhatsApp. Just tell me that on WhatsApp, Isaac. I'm very open. Okay, so so we are looking at that. So yeah, we are looking at the activity. So here is the scenario. You're supposed to use the template below to chart a potential course for that, but that's the second one. The first exercise there, which you are having there for the risk management activity here, you have a table there. The scenario is that you are advising a small non-profit that has a public website with a contact us form on an online donation portal managed by a third party and a computer in main office. The office computer contains a spreadsheet with the names, addresses, and donation histories of all donors. For each asset, you're supposed to rate the impact, that is the damage if it were compromised, and the likelihood of compromise as low, medium, or high. And then you're supposed to align low to 1, medium to 2, and high to 3, and use it to calculate the risk. And then you tell me the risk for the public website, the online donation portal, and the risk on the donor database, okay? So that's what you're supposed to do in regards to this. And I'm going to give you a few moments to do that. Kindly wave if you are with us on this. Okay. If you don't understand the exercise, you can do a thumb down and let me see. Let me see those who who have not downloaded the notes. Xiaomi. Xiaomi is not your name. Rename your own. Soft is not your name. Download the notes. You're not downloading the notes, so you're not looking at it. Now you're telling me to put the notes on my screen. Ah. Hmm. So now you're sending me, go and put the note up. Go and put the note up. Why would I go and put the note up after I've shared it in the group? This is serious. Okay, you want me to do everything for you? Abi, let me do now. Out of my abundant love for you. Let me find it. Okay, I'm trying to access it from my Google Docs. Okay, I store my data on the cloud so that I can access it from all my devices. Okay, I have the guy here. Okay, let me add it to the screen sharing so that you can see it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me hold down control so that I can add two screens. Okay, I'm sure you can see it now. Though it would have been better if you just went there yourself. Rico, when I post resources, follow them now. I took time and made notes for you, and you have not gone through them. That's not encouraging at all. That's not encouraging at all. I don't like that. Okay. So this is what the resource is all about. So you are advising a small nonprofit that has a public website with a contact us form. Okay. So I want you to do an analysis. This is a public website, the impact of the compromise. So a public website, what is the impact or the likelihood of a compromise? What's the likelihood that the nonprofit website is being attacked? Likelihood. What do you think? Low, medium, high? If you had a nonprofit or you think of a nonprofit that you know, it's an online donation portal. Okay. So what do you think? What would be the likelihood of that it can be compromised? Is it possible that it's compromised? Come on, put in the chat. Let's do it together since you don't want to do it on your own. Okay. High. Okay. Public website, medium impact and low likelihood. Medium impact. Okay. High. Medium. Very likely. Your donation site. Very likely. Okay. Somebody say public website, 1 by 2, 2, online donation. That's Angelo. Angelo says 3, impact 3, 2. Okay. Donor database, 3, 3. Okay. I think the likelihood of the donor database being affected, donor database. Remember, the donor database is on the office computer, the spreadsheet with the names, addresses, and donor history of all data of all the donors. Likelihood, 3. I think so. Yeah. That's nice. Then donor database, they compromise. If it's affected, that is seriously critical. Okay, your database of your donors is affected. Whew. They could be attack launched against them. Online donation portal, medium likelihood, high impact. Donor database, high likelihood. This non-profit, this vendor database. That. Okay, Simomo. Okay, so online donation portal. For the online donation portal, impact could be critical, but likelihood online donation portal attacked. I'll put Likelihood of being 2 is a non-profit. Likelihood of the public website likelihood that is attacked, I'll choose 1. Impact of it being attacked, well, it could be taken offline, so I put 2. Okay, so what does this give us? If we have to, let's do here, let's add another column here, and let's do a risk. Okay, Janet has already done all the calculations for us. That's nice. So public website. So the risk will be what? 2 times 1. So that will be 2 times 1, which gives us what? That will be 2. So online donation portal, the risk calculation. Remember, risk is likelihood times impact. So that will be 3 times 2, which will give us what? 6. Then here, donor database will be 3 times 3, which will give us what? 9. So that's critical, it's red. So the donor database has to be secured. That means that the office computer needs to be under lock and key and protected and secured, okay? So that's how we do a risk assessment, okay? That's how risk is being assessed. So that was that for that. Congratulations, everyone. That's good. So that's how you assess risk for anything. So you can also do a risk assessment of the devices you have in your house, your own assets in your house, and how you're going to work with them. You can do your own assessment, okay? All right. So back again. You know, I like to always find out what you're going to do, right? Yeah, you already know. So I'm going to be asking again. So what's your first step? Considering this, I think anyone here, their first step should obviously be to assess your own risk, okay? Assess your own risk. Very, very important. Assess your own risk. We're going to be looking at this question several times in this course, okay? But for now, for what you have done already, you need to assess your own risk. That's what I think. It'll be very important that you do. Assess your own risk of all your devices and choose the things you have to do. Look at your assets, look at your social media accounts, look at your bank details. How are they secured? What have you made sure that they're secured? Okay. Uh for those in my country right now, like the mobile money system was just improved, and they now made sure that you have a tertiary number linked to your primary number from which you can use it as a security to your account, such that for somebody else to change your access, the person needs to access your second number too, not just your first number. So that's kind of like cute, you know. That's kind of like cute. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, we are back. Now let's look at this guy now. We have seen the different domains. We have seen risk assessment. Now let's look at the legal impact of what we are doing. For the legal impact of what we are doing here, which is extremely important, cybersecurity doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Our actions are governed by a complex web of laws, regulations, ethical duties, and considering the fact that we are stewards of data, we must understand these rules. It's very much paramount that we understand how they work so that we make sure that we are compliant in the things we said and make sure that we stick to industry standard. We're not sticking to regulations that are passed. Just recently, in one of my programs I'm taking, they were discussing about the NIST CSF, cybersecurity framework for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And they were referencing a framework, and
Okay, so we have to hold on, guys. I think he has like network issues. So you have to hold on for him to like join back.
All right, sorry for that. I had some network issue. Oh, thank you, Gift. Peace. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, darling. Thank you. No, she was the one I was trying to get to me and you're off. Thank you. Everybody was kind of like, I knew it. This guy like that. I was wondering how his network is even going to take him to the end of the class. Well, it's good that I have somebody backing me up. Thank you. All right, then we are back. So we're looking at the ethical landscape. Let me share back my screen. Okay. And we're saying that cybersecurity does not exist in a vacuum. Yeah, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's linked to a lot of rules and regulation and laws and standards and controls and frameworks that we must comply to. Okay, you must comply to. If you don't comply to them, you receive heavy fines like what I just outlined earlier. The fines could be so heavy that it could bankrupt your company. It could lead to legal issues that could affect trust. So you want to be sure that you're able to attend them. So we're going to look at the first one, which is the global standard. Okay, it's one of the most fierce among all of them. It's the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Huh. Most people hold that it is bound only for US citizens, for EU citizens, that's citizens of the European Union, which is true. But now, any business, that's what this law is about. The GDPR is simply has says that it gives individuals strong rights over their data. Okay, so anything that happens to somebody's data, they have a right to be done. So fines up to 4%. Okay, 4%. You can imagine up to 4% of global annual revenue. You can imagine how dangerous this is. So only this GDPR fines for companies makes up 4% of the global revenue. You can imagine how many billions companies lost because they're not complying to this regulation annually. And why it may apply only to citizens of the European Union. If you have a business, like now, for example, what you are doing right now, we are having a class, okay? We are dealing with data. We have people part of our group, and they're coming from all across the world. Some are coming from Europe. Just for the fact that we have students or community members who are from the European Union or any country territory, mean that we must comply to GDPR. We must comply. So as long as you are handling data, no matter wherever your business is in the world, as long as you are handling data that involves somebody from a European Union country or its affiliate, you are obliged to comply to the GDPR standard. Very important. And since most businesses, we really can't tell, generally it's good to just make sure that you just comply. Okay, so it protects the data of anyone in the EU. And like we said, it is the most fierce that we are discussing it first. So you want to make sure that you comply to it, your company complies to it. Even personally, okay, you deal with people's data, please comply. You maybe one day just create your own community or create your own forum or create your own group and have people join. You want to make sure that you're aware of these things. That's why we're bringing it to you. You must be aware of these laws because, like they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you want that the funds of your company or your group or your startup goes to make part of the 4% of global revenue that is fined by the GDPR non-compliant organizations, up to you. Okay, up to you. Next, the second one, the CCPA, okay, the California's landmark law, okay, California Consumer Protection Act or Privacy Act. Okay, this is very, 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 very important. Very important. And it protects Californian residents, okay? It protects Californian residents and also about how their data should be collected, how it should be stored, how it should be requested, what you can do with it, and what you can't do with it, okay? That's why most companies or most websites, if you go there, they have a privacy policy page, or or what you call an agreement, where you read all that they do and all that they don't do, and they say you agree or you don't agree. You know, when you're just using Microsoft, you are installing Microsoft, they say agree or not agree. You say you don't agree, the installation just stops. So by using, so what that means is that the platforms tell you, or most standards I've read, I always read these things, a lot of them, they tell you one thing. By choosing to use our service, you have agreed to our policy, okay? You agree to our policy. That's what we call consent by use, okay? If you use WhatsApp, you have agreed to WhatsApp's privacy policy, okay? You agree to WhatsApp privacy policy. And they tell you that the policy is subject to change without notice. And the sad thing about these guys is that they usually go and write like 300 pages of privacy policy in fonts that are like 0.5 points, and then you can't even read it, and then it's so long, so you end up just signing it, and then you give away your rights, and then when something goes wrong, you can't even sue them because it's in the privacy policy which you have agreed to. So make sure you always read. We usually tell people don't sign agreements without reading. So let nobody pursue you. Even when you are going for a job and they are giving you an agreement, don't just sign because you're so excited about the money. It is okay to tell the HR that please give me a day to review this. Take it to a legal person. You are not a law person. Let me warn some of you. You are not a legal counsel. Get a legal counsel. Have somebody you can send documents like that to. Because when it comes to legal terms, trust me, people, they know how to hide things in words. They hide things in plain words. And then you get yourself hooked up somewhere and you can't say anything because you have signed something. Be careful. All right. Next one on the mother hen. This is another one, another critical one. HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And this one actually is for health insurance, and it protects patient-sensitive health information, PHI. From the one Dave was telling us about PII, the personal identifiable information, PII, and the SPII, the sensitive personal identifiable information. And a personal identifiable information is any information that can be used to determine your identity. Okay, maybe your name, your email address, maybe your phone number. Those are personal identifiable information. Your address, your zip code, your mailbox. Those are things that can be used to identify you. Now, there are other personal identifiable information that are more sensitive than most. This is what we call the SPII. SPII makes things like your credit card number, like your social security number, like your BVN, for those of you who are in Nigeria, your bank verification number, or your IBAN, the international bank identification number or account number, things like that identify you personally. Things like your health data, your counseling or psychological report, your physical assessment or exam, your health assessment. All of these things are sensitive data, sensitive, okay? It should only be accessed and under strict lock and key. That's why we have things like HIPAA, which comes in place and is defined by the US healthcare security standard, okay? Now, why most of these policies are based in the US or created by US-based companies and so, it affects everything globally, okay? Everything globally. That's why most security frameworks and controls, though suggestive, are very much important that you comply to them because you don't know the state of every person you come in contact or talk with on regular basis. Next, we have the Sarbanes-Oxley, or what we call the SOX, okay? And SOX affects public companies and it protects investors, okay? It's meant to protect investors. That's what it does. So it applies to all publicly traded companies in the US and it's enacted after major accounting scandals to protect investors. So it requires companies to have strong internal controls over their financial reporting data. All right. That's what this does. So cybersecurity controls are essential for ensuring the integrity and accuracy of financial data and reports. So SOX isn't just a pure cybersecurity rule, but it has a huge cyber component, and that's to ensure financial reports are accurate. Public companies must prove that they have security controls in place to prevent tampering with financial data. This makes cybersecurity critical for legal compliance. That's why, just like we have uh, the Fed, and in Nigeria you have the FCC, and in Cameroon we have the CONAC, who go around doing financial audits of companies, auditing companies financially to figure out corruptions and embezzlement and stuff like that. We also have SOX, and there's also security audit. There are security auditors, like those who are going into governance and also compliance. They're going to be working as security auditors too, in some capacity, to assess the security standards of companies. Okay. And you don't want that your company is under scrutiny or under investigation and then you fall short. So you want to be sure your responsibility is also to protect the company that you work for. Okay. And then this one is one that each and every one of us here at some point must have been subject to. That is the PCI DSS, or what they call the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Okay. So it is all organizations that are handling cardholder data. Okay. If you ever use your card, maybe to pay like a bank or a shop or anywhere, they are recommended or requested or demanded to comply to the PCI data security standard. Okay. It is it's not optional. They're meant to comply. They're meant to comply. And so that's why before you're making your payment to any website, you want to check that it complies. Because if it doesn't comply, your credit card information is at risk. You're just entering your information anywhere like that. You should be careful. Okay. That's why sometimes it's just preferable you just use PayPal to pay for your services, because PayPal takes your card, secures it, and then enables you to pay without revealing your card details to anywhere. So just saying. I'm not saying other ones are not better. I'm just saying what I do. Okay. I know we say some things and we are looking as if we are directing. You're not directing. I'm just recommending. Okay. Okay, so let's look at some case studies and see how this can be applied. One of our first case study we are looking at is the non-profit data breach. And yeah, we are looking at a case when trust is broken. And the scenario is when a non-profit donor database is hacked. So what kind of data will be exposed if this happens? Okay, what kind of data are we looking at? What will be exposed? So data exposed, we can have names, addresses, donations, amount, and credit card information. If a non-profit donor database is exposed, okay. And then you look at the impact. The impact. What would the impact be? For credit card data that is at risk, we are going to face PCI DSS penalties, okay? This is a whole legal issue. Trust me, it's a whole legal issue. It could cripple it's a financial battle that could cripple your company. So, and if EU donors were present, then you are going to face potential GDPR fines. And just so I remind you, GDPR fines make up 4% of global annual financial revenue. That to tell you that that just what GDPR fines make up more than some countries' annual budget. Okay, in terms of fines that they fine companies. So you want to be sure that you actually are protecting your company. Better just hire a cybersecurity expert and protect your company than to go through these fines. That is why there's a place for us. Let nobody fool you. There's a place for us. As long as you follow the mentorship program correctly, you do the things we ask you to do, you're going to have a place. Let nobody fool you and that you're going to come out and not get a job immediately. I have been offered issues like that. I've had people contact me for things, and I'm the one that is telling them that no, I'm not ready yet, because I don't want to be the kind of person that begins to cripple my career before it starts by accepting that I can do something when I am not ready to do it yet. Remember, integrity and credibility is important. It is okay when you turn down an offer than to accept an offer and you can't keep up. That could cripple your career. You should know when to accept a promotion and when not to. You know, every promotion that is a good thing. Some promotions are not good. Be very much wise. I have said so. Okay, so the result, what will the result be? It will be trust loss, reputation damage, possible California consumer private. Now, the CCPA is not only for California, okay? That's why in some records, instead of seeing CCPA as California Consumer Privacy Act, you're going to see Central Consumer Privacy Act. It is very, very important, okay? When you expose people's data, to maybe through hacking or through data loss, those people could fine you for exposing their data to external sources. Okay, they could sue you. Companies could sue you, or individuals, even individuals could sue you. I remember, I think that was just about 3 years ago. Someone in the US was taking Google to court because by packet analysis, his device was uploading 248 kilobytes of data to Google on a daily database. And he was suing Google to present a record of all the data that Google has been uploading to their server from his device. So you see, that's serious. This is how serious this thing is. Okay. And then you don't want to be the one who is working for a company and then the company is going through this kind of crisis. Why? Because you're not advising, you're not setting good regulations, and not setting good compliance standards. You don't want to be that one, okay? Don't be the bad guy and start your career. Imagine the case where you are no longer having a job because your company was sued for non-compliance, and then you're out there looking for a job in a new company. My dear, even if I'm an employer, I'm going to be thinking twice before employing you, because if you work for one person and you were sued and your company was sued, what's the probability that you're going to see overlook some things and my company will be sued? So you see. So these are some of the things where CCPA can come in: failure to honor consumer rights requests, lack of transparency, inadequate data security, mishandling sensitive personal information, failure to comply with new consumer rights, and not meeting vendor contract requirements. You see, and I'm simply specifying this because most often will be online selling. Okay, you create services and want people to pay for them. You want to be able to show. That's what I talk about consumer rights. It is a serious thing. Okay. So another case study here is here. Okay, we have already looked at the data breach case. And now for ethical considerations, you want to remember some things, okay? Some very, very important things you should remember. In the fact that we are caretakers. We are not owners of data, okay? There are different terms we look at when it comes to dealing with assets, because when it comes to data, we are custodians of data. We don't own the data. When people, like for example, the group we are having, the community we are having, we don't own the people in that community. The people own their data, they own their phone numbers, they own their names. Okay, we don't own them. As a community manager, you are a custodian of the data, you are a protector of the data. That's why we tell people, if somebody writes you privately from the community and you don't approve of it, or trying to spam or dissuade you, or just let us know. We'll kick the person out of our community. Okay. Nobody should join our community because they want to take advantage of the many people that are joining our community. No. It's the same thing. It should happen to every group. There are groups like that that you just join and then somebody is writing you, I'm coming from this place, I have an investment opportunity for you, and that's on. That is that is misuse. Okay, that's misuse of data. There should be rules to handle such things. Okay. Remember, another thing, that handle data as you'd want yours to be handled. Be transparent about the data you collect and what you use the data for. It is very important. When you collect people's information, let them know why you're collecting it. And the thing, some of you, I've told you, send me your full name and your email address, and I'm telling you that's what I do. I don't save names, I don't save single names in my device. I don't have it. If you have a name in my device, it's going to be a full name, a first name, a last name. That's what I do in my device. And I have over 2,000 contacts. So I so every contact is like that. That is just me. I don't save single names. If I have just a single name of yours, I guarantee you I've not saved your contact. So right. So you must be transparent about the data you collect and what you use the data for. Okay. And while you use the data, make sure you don't violate people. Get informed consent. Ensure people understand what you do. Okay. Don't just keep spamming people and spamming people and spamming people. Let people understand. That's why when you fill form, they tell you subscribe, you have to select and say you have consented to receive newsletters or receive emails or promotions. That's because when they are sued, they will say, hey, he consented, he ticked the box. So don't just stick things in the careless. Okay, part 4. If you're still here, can I get somebody to wave a thumb up? You're still here with us. I want to be sure that I'm not alone. Nobody is sleeping, Abby. Okay. Thank you, peace. Thank you, Idan. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Jeanette. I want to know find those who are sleeping. Oh, Moses, you're wide awake. Okay. All right. Olabisi, Ojo. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Israel, thank you, Rachel. Okay, you're still here. All right. So, what then are our next steps? We've covered the domains, we've covered risks, we've covered laws. So let's talk about how you can start building your career and making a difference right now. Okay. How are you going to start doing that? How do you do that? So how do you get started? Firstly, there are 4 different ways you can go about it. Okay. The first way, the easiest one, is a certification pathway. Okay. Take a certification. And when most often people talk about certification, they're looking at ethical hacker, penetration testing. I tell people one thing, one rule, which I am following myself. Okay. I'm also building my career. I'm following myself, and I'll advise everybody to do the same. Start from the foundation. Don't run too much. You're going to go ahead and then you're going to come back. Start from the foundation. Build from ground up. Strengthen yourself. Build reputation and integrity from the base. As you go ahead, you would have built a foundation that you can build a lasting career on. Don't just spearhead your running because you want to have one big title, one big certification, and then there are some things about. Remember, you cannot just hire somebody who has a CISP and then the person does not understand some basic concepts about networking. I mean, how does it even look? Because there are people that just study exams, eh? There are people that just study exams, they become masters of exams. They can get past question, practice sessions, they can get hack labs, and they can do things. And yet, they pass the exams, but the bases are not there. Start from the basis. Be patient. Give yourself time. It is very, very, very important. Very important. Start from the basis. I tell people start from the basis. Sometimes I even look at CAMSHA. I'm thinking CAMSHA Security Plus is not the basis. I have said so. CAMSHA Security Plus is not the basic certification, okay? That's why if you go in for CAMSHA Security Plus, they'll tell you that they're recommending you to take CAMSHA Networking Plus or CAMSHA A Plus or IT support first, okay? They recommend that. Why do they recommend that? Because it's a foundation, and they're telling you that you must have maybe a 2 years working experience in a security field to take the CAMSHA Security Plus. It's a recommendation, not an obligation. I'm saying so because I'm also doing a recommendation, okay? I'm not in any way. What I'm doing is a recommendation. Okay. So I designed my own pathways. I see some people posting documents about pathways coming from the left and right. Remember, those pathways may not, it's not just a one size fits all. Okay. You must discover your own way. And any good coach or mentor is the one that helps you to discover a way that is unique for you. Because you can just see one pathway and then remember, oh, believe me, I've looked at different master courses, master paths, and so you can just see something and just thinking, oh, it worked for this person, so it's going to work for me. It's not going to work for you. You want to customize it as much as possible, feed your own, come up with your own timeline, feed it into your own calendar. I have my calendar designed, like activities I do on a weekly basis, what I do on a weekly basis, what I study on a weekly basis is in my calendar for weeks, scheduled out for weeks, spanning months, from my own personal. So I was able to use an assistant and design my own pathway, customize it that works for me. And just because it works for me does not mean it will work for you. So it will be wrong for me to give you mine and tell you to follow it. It will not work. What I can help you is help you discover yours and build that one that is unique for you, because no two paths are the same, okay? No two persons are the same. Our learning paths are not the same. We're not coming from the same place, okay? So I can't just give you my thing. That's what is happening with mostly motivational speakers today. They come and tell you how all the things they did, but they don't tell you the many years they were trying to build their foundation and it was not working out, and all the lessons they learned. They're just telling you what I just worked today, and you just think that you just apply it and you just work like magic. No, you wouldn't. Okay. And so people try it and they come out and then tell you, oh, that cybersecurity thing is overrated. No, you're not overrated. You're not following your own plan. Take your own plan. So start from the basics, learn the basics of everything. Okay. So people talk about basics. One of the basics certifications which I believe in, which I enjoy myself, is the Google Cybersecurity Certificate. Okay. Or you use the IBM Cybersecurity Analyst. Okay. That one works. But I prefer the Google Cybersecurity Analyst certificate because it's a dual certification. Once you pay for the Google Cybersecurity Certificate, it gives you automatically a 30% discount to the Camsha Security Plus. So, and when you complete both of them, they give you a dual certification for it. Okay. Of course, you're going to have your Google certificate, you're going to have a Camsha certificate, but you're going to have a dual certification badge, which like the one you're going to see, like the one you're seeing on the screen, which is going to add to your LinkedIn. Okay. Another certification, which is obviously a basic, far more basic than even the Google security. It is certified in cybersecurity by ISC squared. Okay. Or you call it ISC 2. Okay, so you can do that one. That one is $50 though. You can do it. Google Cybersecurity Certificate will cost you roughly $490 to go through. Okay, it's hosted on Coursera. You can have something, if you want to choose another pathway, you could take Google Cloud for $100. Google Cloud Security is about 100. Um, then ISC2 is $50. But now, if you want to apply to ISC2, you can actually do ISC2 for free. It's possible because ISC2 is on a campaign to issue 1 million cybersecurity certificates. That was from like last year, January, I think so. I don't know if they have achieved their numbers yet, but if you would apply to their program as a new applicant, you get 6 months of free, within which you can get a free ISC squared certified in cybersecurity certificate. Ooh, hooray to them. So if you choose that one, good enough. Okay. And then if you just want to learn the basics and you don't want to pay some money for it, just like you want to know the knowledge or so, and you don't want to pay from ground up, you can go for Skills for All. Okay. Cisco Skills for All by Network on the Network Academy. Cisco Networking Academy offers a basic course in cybersecurity. You can take the course for free, and then when you're done, you can pay for the certification. Okay. Other places you have ASCO. ASCO have their own too. Though it's a little expensive. You could go for ALX Africa, ALX, the Africa Leadership Talent Horn. They actually offer a far more one. In Cameroon, that's around 12,000 per month. And it lasts for, I think the main course is for 8 months, and then the foundation course is 3 months. So 12,000 is like maybe 20, that's around 30,000 naira, 40,000 naira a month for that course to go through, which is still cheaper because an international accredited pathway. come out with diploma in cybersecurity kind of stuff. Yeah. So those are certifications. I'm just saying how to get started. Okay. If you're saying that, okay, I don't want certifications, maybe I already am studying for free. I just want to do some things. You can go in your home lab. You can practice with your virtual box or VMware safely from your home, from your own computer system. Or you can use an online platform like TryHackMe, Hack the Box, Coursera, and then, but if you want to do all of this, you can start from the top to the bottom down in that order. Okay. You can start your certification training, and while you're doing it, you're using your home lab to get your portfolio, to build your portfolio. I already have a portfolio from the very first course I started. I started building a portfolio. It's a whole web portfolio, and I'm doing it for free. Absolute website hosted for free on GitHub pages. GitHub Pages offers you to have your website for absolute free. I'm building my website there. If you look on the initial page of the this call with this class, if you look at that cover that I designed, you have the fitaps24.github.io is on GitHub, where I host my code repository. Every single cybersecurity personnel or developer should have a GitHub account. If you don't have a GitHub account, create one immediately you finish from there. You should have one. When you are applying for a job, thing they'll always ask for is your LinkedIn handle and your GitHub repository. Your GitHub repository tells the kind of exercises you're doing, because that's where you're supposed to send your portfolios. That's where all your coding exercises are supposed to be. They can track your progress of everything you're built. And then if you have a good code base on GitHub, over time, after your certification, you could join open source projects. Open source projects is one way to take you to the top, because most people recruit from open source. You know, I haven't joined anyone yet, but I plan to. So I'm going to tell you because that's my plan. That's what works. I'm telling you about them. No, I'm not going to be keeping them from you. I'm telling you. Okay, so you can use online resources like TryHackMe, Hack the Box, Coursera. You can use Over the Wire. You know, take note of the exercises that you're doing there and keep them. When you're doing exercises there, make sure you're taking screenshots, you're making notes, create web pages, and put them on your portfolio. Okay. Then you have community, join communities like what we are having right now. We are having a great community. We are almost reaching 1,000 people in the community. Join local meetups and online forums, okay? Like what you've just done here. Go on LinkedIn, connect with people, okay? Uh, last one of the things I did, I think that was a couple of months ago, is I wrote to one of those who won, like the person who won the DevOps of the Year award, DevOps Engineer of the Year award. I wrote him, and I was surprised. He responded. I was like, wow. I mean, and he responded. He was very humbly, and he was able to share with me some insight. It was good. You see, people are open to help. They want to help. People want to help you. Don't isolate yourself. Join a community from the very beginning. Don't say, well, I don't have any certification yet. I'm just starting to learn. That is when you should join. You see, from the beginning, when you start to learn, connect with people who are already ahead of you. That way, you can, if you are lost or in your direction, you see that most of the time I get notification of some people that are viewing my profile. I know that I don't have anything yet, but they are monitoring what I'm doing. You see, somebody came to me the other time and sent me a website to go there, one recruiter, to go there and create an account and take some lessons there so that he can verify some things I know. You know, that's how people will reach out to you. People don't, 80% of jobs are no longer put on job forums. 80% of jobs come by connection, people that they know. And there is no better way to showcase as a professional than on a professional platform like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of them. The room is another one, but the room is only by invitation. The room, you can't go to the room and create an account. A room, can only be invited to create an account on the room, maybe by a proven track record. Okay, yeah, you can, if you have some certifications, I can direct you on how to apply to the room. You have the room, you have LinkedIn, but you can also create other accounts in other places depending on whatever you're targeting. Google is your friend. Ask Google. Okay. All right. Now it's your turn. Make sure you chart your own course. Okay. You got to chart your course. Create a personalized career roadmap. Choose a domain. List the skills that you want to build in that domain. Set an achievable goal for the next month, the next couple of months. Those are the things that you should be doing immediately after this course, okay? Remember, what I want to do is not just teach you, but give you a practical step of how to follow, okay? is this a practical thing? You should not just fill your head. Begin to do the exercises I would recommend it. Each and every class, I give you an activity to do, and I tell you, and I try to ask, what do you do next? Because I'm interested in you improving with what you've learned. Okay, so use the activity chart and build your own personal career. Build, okay? Build your career so that you can monitor what your goals, monitor you achieve the skills, put the skill, learn it, achieve it, tick it off. Okay, like I learned how to use SQL with databases. Okay, query databases with SQL. For Linux, I learned Linux a whole lot a couple of years ago. Okay, how to use Linux. I just decided one day I just got up and say, okay, this year I'm going to use just Linux. Okay, so I rebooted my system and I used Linux. The only time I went back to Google to Microsoft was when I was doing things like graphics, because I wouldn't have Adobe Suite on Linux. So you see, I stayed with Linux for more than a year. I literally know my way in and out. Even if I was sleeping, I could work myself with permissions and file architecture and all of that. So you get to set a goal and then work towards it, and then you achieve it. Okay, achieve it. Kosi is saying, please, who can list the certificate he mentioned in order? Please, Kosi, the notes are there. They're all there, okay? And I'm going to give you this presentation. It's okay, and it's still going to be on YouTube. You can follow later to catch up if you want to hear these things again. Because me, I always like to hear me again. You know, even I myself, I go back and listen to me so that I can be sure of what I said. You know, I'm very mindful of what I say. My words are very important to me. So, what is going to be your next step? So, of these four things, write in the chat what's going to be your own next step. What's going to be your next step? Is it certification? Is it home lab? Is it an online community? Is it a meetup? You want to do a physical meetup? Are you trying? Is there somebody you want to connect with? Somebody you want to deal with? Or you want to set up your own home lab and start hacking things? You know, you hack it to break it, right? So tell me, home lab community. Okay, that's Aminat Olavisi. Okay, best PC says home lab and meetup, online communities education, then home lab. Okay, Moses, that sounds like a plan. Okay. Uh, I recently joined the Coursera community, and Coursera community there, we are enjoying ourselves. Okay. All right. LMG here is saying home lab. I have by the way, I have LMG here. LMG is attending the class with me in person, yeah, online. That's nice. So he's not just online, he's online and in person actually. So all right. So he's telling me he's going for home labs. Okay, certification. He says I have Google set. All right. I have Google set, Google Security set labs. I'm busy with community here. Angelo, that's nice. Congratulations. Setting up. So what have you done with your Google Security or Google Security certification only? Write me. Tell me what you've done with your certification, what you've done with your labs already, and what stage you are after your certification. Okay. You should be busy. Don't skip those things. Don't keep in your box. Do great things with it. Okay. Setting up my home lab as is. Okay. Certification, home lab, online platform. Okay. That's Ransford. Okay. Xiomi is saying certification. I don't know who Xiomi is. Xiomi, please, so write your name so that I can know what you're talking about. Okay. That's nice. So what is it up for you? What is it going to be for you? Oh, Peace is saying LX Africa. Okay, Peace, join me. I'm on the room already, so you can join me in the room. I'll be more than willing to have you in the room with our weekly meetup and community activities. That's nice. That's good. I'm a member of the room. I had the opportunity last year to join the room. That's 2 years now. Wow, that's good. I was actually invited to join. Okay. Hmm. Olabisi says she has a question. Okay. Actually, our class is almost done. Should I say done? So we should be taking questions. Okay. So charge your course. Okay. Last thing you need to define is that you are a human firewall, like I said yesterday. Security awareness is a culture, okay? And defense is ongoing. Defense is ongoing. So key takeaway and Key takeaway. First thing, find your domain, define the roles you want to do, think in the risk. So decide based on likelihood and impact. So when you look at systems, decide in that way. Act with integrity. Be a trusted data steward. Let people trust you, your data, okay? When somebody connects with you, let them trust you to share with you what they are working on, and trust you to be able to guard it with your life, okay? If you can do that, you're going to build your own network, because people are going to come to you and they know that you can trust you, they can work with you can guide them directly. They're going to keep coming to you. That's it. So never stop learning, grow continuously. Okay. So those are the 4 different pathways. Find your domain, think in risk, act with integrity, and never stop learning. With that, we come to our class end today. So connect with me on LinkedIn to be a thriving community. Now, somebody wrote earlier and said that you were trying to tag me in a post and it was not possible. That was because I made sure that nobody did, okay? But I've opened it. When you're done, go to LinkedIn, write a post, okay? The e-card of the last course and the e-card of today, I created it, I posted in the community. So you can use it to create a post on LinkedIn. That also builds integrity. Other people get to know that you're actually actively building your career, okay? Tag me in it and I'm going to post it on my own. I'm going to repost or share your post on my page. So my 1,000 people plus are going to also follow it, okay? I have people from all walks of life, from the very beginning to those who are already on the top of the world, and they are just cheering and looking and encouraging me, and they're also going to see too, okay? So create a post, tag me in it, and what I'm going to do because you're building a community, okay? I also want you to build yourself too. So I'm going to share your post on my page and let other people get to see and interact with them. And they're also going to come to your page to see your page too. Okay. You can also send me a connection request. I've been receiving requests from a lot of you already, and I've been accepting your requests. I think I still have about 15 requests or so. I'm not, just before I noticed before the class, I'm not, if I haven't responded to your connection request yet, I'm going to do so. Okay. I'm going to do so. So I'm looking forward to it. Questions, Olabisi. So I'm going to take questions now. Olabisi's hand was up, LMG. So LMG is here telling me question. So LMG, let's take Olabisi first. Okay, I told you LMG is right here with me and he's attending the class in person here. Okay. From Wednesday, he's been attending in person. Okay. Okay, Olabisi, you can unmute your mic now. Thank you. Then before Olabisi even speaks,
Thank you very
please,
much.
thank you to all of you for attending the class. It's one thing to have a class, it's another thing to attend, okay? So thank you for coming to attend. And we are grateful for our host for the platform he's created for us to come together, okay? Yes, Olabisi, over to you. Okay, it's like I need to grant you permission again to unmute, okay? Okay, go ahead, unmute.
Thank you very much, sir, for the class. Really appreciate it. So please, I have the question now is, you talked about all these compliance and these regulatory bodies. And also, I just want to ask, I'm a bit confused about this. There's one I've always been seeing, ISO 200 something. I don't really understand what that means or what it actually does.
Okay, ISOs are what we call the International Standard Organization, or you call it International Organization of Standards. I don't know why they keep writing it like that. It's actually reversed. But the International Organization of Standards is the organization that sets frameworks and controls. And they work together with the NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, to build frameworks and controls. So they're like, ISO is like a standard, okay? So let me explain it in a simple term. So I start a chocolate manufacturing company, okay? And globally, there is already a standard of quality that chocolate manufacturing companies should maintain, should come up to maintain quality, for us to say that, okay, the chocolate you are producing is standard because you are using proper quality assessment, quality assurance methods, you're using standard industry techniques, you're using standard industry reagents and machines and processes, and your team is qualified. These standards have been set. So once your company is set and sure that, okay, because we are in a chocolate manufacturing business, we want to be recognized globally that we are up to date in our technology. So what we'll do is that we are going to identify the leading standard that is existing and we try to catch up to it. Okay, so we go in the industry and investigate and say, okay, currently right now, the standard procedure for making chocolate has to be this quality, this quality. Once we meet that quality, we are going to apply to the certification body, or what they call the standardization body. They are going to come and review our methods, do an audit, and issue us a standard certificate. So we say that we are ISO 480-86 compliant. Now, people who react in that industry or interact with that industry can say, okay, we trust these people because they are this compliance. So those are compliance standards, okay? So once your company complies, your company is supposed to, there are certain industry cybersecurity standards that your company should comply to, okay? So once you comply to that, you're automatically going to start attracting different people who are looking at that standard. For example, I will not want to use any service or use my critical information to pay for a service on a site that is not PCI DSS certified or accredited. I will not want to register for an online course which is not CPD accredited. So you see, so there are standards for education, there are standards for certifications, there are standards for global education that schools and education bodies, no matter whether it's cybersecurity or whatever you're studying online and you want to take a course, what tells that your certificate is important is the standard that support those certificates. Because everybody issues a cyber certificate everywhere. Everybody is issuing a course everywhere. But the certificate they're offering you, is it industry recognized? When we say industry recognized, it means that it meets a standard. So your certificate, if the certificate or the certificate issuing body does not meet that standard, then the certificate is issuing will not be recognized in the industry. I don't know if I answered your question, Olabisi. Olabisi, are you still here? Is anyone hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Olabisi, please let me know if I've answered your question. Okay, while she's coming up, let me take another question. If you have another question, please. Okay. Let me just asking the question. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if you don't have that time to read everything on that cookies and privacy, but under privacy, an agent like as a security agent have operated file that if you accept cookies and privacy, you can have access to your information.
Ask again. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, LMG is asking about cookies and also about terms of privacy, about the fact that they are long. They are long. That's why you have to read. They are made long intentionally to make sure that you don't read so that you can not sue them. Okay, that's why they make it long so that you don't read. They actually don't want you to read it. So that's why they make it long.
Then
The,
if you actually have access to your information.
Of course, they have access to your information. Cookies take your browser history. They read your browser history, your behavior, the things you access. But it also offers you faster load time for your web services and so you can accept, you can deny. If you deny the cookies, no cookies will be stored. Okay. But though it enables your web, your local, because what cookie does is that it enables a local copy of the site so that you can access it faster. Okay, and also enables you to access some services. Some websites require it, others don't. So that's what cookies do. But also, because cookies store your data, cookies can also be hacked. Okay. Yeah, it stores your data. So if someone hacks your system, the person can steal your cookies. They actually steal cookies, okay? Because cookies have your history, your web history, the sites you access, and how you interact with the data. Okay. All right. If any other person doesn't have a question, I think, Nelson. Okay. Nelson, raise up your hand using the reaction so that I can grant you permission. Okay. Raise your hand using the reactions. Nelson, Komla, Nelson, you can unmute your mic. I'll access you to unmute your mic. Okay, you can unmute your mic.
There are questions there in the chat box saying if Cisco certification is recognized.
Of course, Cisco is a standard. Okay, when it comes to network security, Cisco is a force to reckon with in the certification world. Okay, the only thing Cisco, the when you go to Cisco Networking Academy, what they have done is that they've just made their trainings for free. Okay, the self-paced training is free. Self-paced. That means you go at your own pace. If you want an instructor-led, self-paced means that the course is recorded and there you read and then you take videos and that's self-paced. But if you want something where you are in a live class like we are having right now with an instructor, it's not free. You actually pay for it, okay? But then when you are done, you can apply for their certification and take their exam. Okay, you can apply for their certification and take their exam. So Cisco is recognized. But now it depends on one field you are into. Something like CCNA, that's Cisco Certified Networking Associate, Cisco Certified Networking Professional, CCNP. They are very good certificates, especially if you're trying to join the red team. They'll come in handy because understanding of the network is very important. Networking, like one of the industry professionals that I recently connected to was sharing with me. He was trying to give me some hints on what to focus on the beginner, which I'm sharing with you. Those are my secret connections that I'm trying to share my conversations with you. He's saying, he told me, he said, why you're trying to do what you're trying to do. He said, most of the courses you take would have basic knowledge about networking. He says, but if you can, on the side, build strong network skills, it will be of essential help for you. It will be of great help because you're going to be dealing a lot with network and it's going to put you on another level. So I'm just sharing that with you. So networking is very important. That's what Cisco does. Cisco globally, Cisco is the world leading producer of networking tools and equipment. Most routers, most networks, especially enterprise networking resources are produced by Cisco. Cisco is the one that certifies them, their standards. So Cisco is the one that made the standards. So when a course is offered by Cisco on networking, you know it's a standard. Like now, like the packet analyzer, like the Cisco packet analyzer that we have, which you are going to be using next week, which you were told already to download. That is an industry training software. It's used by every industry. Okay, it's used by every industry. But when it comes to things like ethical hacking and cybersecurity certifications, they don't hold as much weight as others. Okay, they don't hold as much weight as others. It's something I've done a study of for myself. They don't hold as much weight, but they are recognized. If you talk about industry, they're recognized. Okay, someone was asking me the same question about Google. You are taking Google cybersecurity certification. Is it important? I said, what do you mean by is it important? If Google is issuing a certification and you are being trained by active members of the Google Cybersecurity team, that already tells you something about their certifications. Of course, it's standard and recognized. That's why from their certification, they want to push you to go more by giving you a voucher to take your next certification, which they always recommend that when you take the Google Cybersecurity certificate, just take the Camsha Security Plus, because you don't need to train again for Camsha. The Google Cybersecurity course is sufficient enough to cover both certifications. Okay, cover both certifications, which is also good. Okay, so I've got Google certification introduction. I have Google certificate. I want to know which Google certificate you're talking about, Isaac. Then you say introduction to ethical hacking from John Hopkins, just to start ALS class. That's September 25. Also doing my internship with Edureka. Okay, Edureka. I looked at Edureka program, cyber cloud, the DevOps, because I think last year I had an opportunity to do DevOps with Lion Tech Academy in Canada, and Edureka was trying to reach out to me to get their programs too. So if you're taking an internship with Edureka, good. You do a lot about cloud security and DevSecOps. That's very good, because that's where Edureka is specialized in too. But now, what our advice is, with what you're doing, okay, Isaac says cybersecurity certificate. Isaac, what you're doing, what you already have is good. You're building internship, good. Build your portfolio and start applying for jobs. Okay, start applying for jobs now. Get as many rejections. Let me tell you what I was told. Apply for jobs, whether you qualify or don't qualify. Get as much rejections as you want, and don't take rejections personally. Okay, get as many rejections as you want. The more you're rejected, one thing I always do is that I always try to reach out to know why I don't qualify. Okay, I've taken a lot of interviews, sometimes live interviews, and sometimes my system was the only reason I was disqualified, because my system didn't meet to standard. And what they were asking me to, I remember there was one time, I think that was last year January, I was being asked to take I was being asked to take a job offer to as a co-instructor in one university in the UK, and just the specification of the laptop they asked me to do in the Cameroon market, that laptop was 700 and something thousand, and if you take it to Nigeria, that would be I think that was close to 2 million naira. I mean, that's not kind of a money I could just access immediately. So, but then I knew what it took. Okay. The more interviews you have, the more reviews you have, and the more fine-tuned you will be. So, Isaac, start applying for jobs even while you are on internship. That's what I would advise. Okay. Come back and thank me later. Okay. Somebody is asking. I'm not even where Isaac is, so I'm still behind Isaac. Hey, Isaac, don't mind. I've just built a very solid foundation, and I'm building on it. So I'm telling you what I would do if I were you. Okay. So that makes me a good mentor, right? Yeah, I know. Okay. Kamla still has a hand raised. Okay, Kamla, I don't know if Kamla, you can lower your hand if you already answered your question. Ola, this is what Ola Lere. You can soon. I think it's Sean. You can go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. I just wanted to make more clarification concerning what you mentioned, and I'd like to thank you for this lecture tonight. It was a very wonderful, despite my network was misbehaving, but thank you for the lecture. I really enjoy it. You mentioned about ALS the other time. I don't know. I just wanted to make more clarity concerning the ALS that will be starting next month, I think on the 22nd. How intensive, or do you recommend ALS for somebody to start with?
Okay. When you come back, please tell me how to pronounce that your name. I really want to know how to pronounce it. I know somebody was asking me the other time, are you Nigerian? I said, when it comes to Nigeria, if it's about knowing Nigeria, then I'm ready for a visa, because I literally know Nigeria like the back of my hands. Okay, so this is what I would say. For ALX, I've taken the ALX. I had a scholarship before ALX went on with offering the micro courses they were offering. A couple of years ago, ALX I remember my first contact with ALX. By then, ALX was not even existing. I think that was in 2014. I applied for a scholarship. I was granted a partial scholarship through the Africa Leadership University. And then I think 3 years, that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the founder decided to pursue a dream by taking Africa Leadership University global to the US by acquiring Hobart University. Hobart University is one of the top tech university in the Silicon Valley. And by acquiring it, his aim and goal was to use his technology to advance education in Africa. And I had the privilege of being one of the, I was on the second batch of students to receive a $90,000 grant or for in terms of education. I joined the ALX software engineering team, the cohort. And fortunately for me, I don't like to use the word unfortunately, I dropped out of the program. I dropped out of the program because I had some challenges and I had to move back to the village, and then I could not attend the classes. And trust me, if you don't keep up, ALX Schwaniga has one policy. If you listen to Schwaniga talk, that is the CEO and founder, okay, of Africa Leadership Foundation. If you listen to him talk, they have one slogan: do hard things. That's the slogan. From the slogan, I'm sure you can answer your question soon. Do hard things. The aim of the program is to be so intensive that it builds resilience in you. That's the first thing, resilient. That's why all their programs start with a 3-month foundation. The software engineering program starts with a 2-month foundation, but now they've modified it. Now, if you go to the application board, you actually notice that the software engineering course have been broken down into micro courses. They know that single course does not exist again. But they took a 2 years. What they did then, which is not currently done right now, is that what they did then was that they took a 2-year Hobart program. That when he acquired Hobart, he took the 2 years curriculum for the Hobart and offered it as a scholarship to Africans for 1 year, 12 months. And you were studying, I think every month, every week, you study for 70 hours a week. 70. When I mean 70, I mean 70. The coursework was 70 hours a week. You can imagine how intensive that was. So you missing 1 week, there was no way to even catch up if you missed a week. Okay, you missed a week. Recently, I've been away from the room for a long time. I've just been reading their emails and never going back to the room. Though I have a room account. Recently, I went to the room account and I was doing a research for someone who wanted me to guide them on what to do. So I thought I'd just go back and check LX programs and see what they have in store. When I went back there, I noticed that my account was still active, and the course is still even there. That the SE course I took in 2022 is still even in my account, and I was looking at it, and I noticed that they have made the courses lighter. But one thing you should know is that they are going to be resilient in you. I recommend it because of the resilience they are going to be, and because it's a scholarship program. Okay, you're literally paying nothing. You're literally paying nothing. Okay. So it's a scholarship program. It's actually being sponsored by MasterCard International. So it will be good. I actually, irrespective of the fact that I'm almost done with my certification, my first certification in cyber, I decided to register again for the ALX program. Not because of the training, it's because of the environment, okay, and the network that is there. I built so much network back then. I mean, when I started my LX program, I built so much network back then that he assisted me also. That's where I even started focusing on building my LinkedIn portfolio. Okay, that was just a couple of years. So you see, it's been of help. Okay, even if all I took from there was the resilience and the tenacity and the zeal and passion for tech that they built in me, that's what that program did. We started building C. You see, when I left the program, we had already finished C and we're already moving into Python. Even though I left the program, I still did Python until I even went into into intermediate. I went into upper intermediate, okay, with my Python. And even right now, I lecture Python in the university. So it assisted, okay. From there, I could use the zeal and do other things that I do. So I think it's a good program if you choose to take it. But the fact is that the length of the program, the Google program, the advantage of the Google program is that it's self-paced And though he said it can be taken in 6 months, you can take it in 3 months if you actually make up your mind to do it. But the LX program, you cannot shorten the LX program because it's a life mentorship program. And you're going to be having things that are there. So, and it's actually just look at the program and then you'll see that. But the first thing that I would require is that everyone should take their foundation program. That foundation program is going to build some soft skills in you. And when it comes to cybersecurity, soft skills are very important. Okay, diversity and soft skills are important. I'm sure I should have answered your question if not. I know it's past time, and then Alemji just reminded me that it's past time, but I'm just going to take some further questions. But thank you for coming, okay? If you wish to leave, you are free to leave. But if you want to stay and benefit from others' questions, please do stay, okay? But it's past time. But I'm going to stay back so that I can take your questions, okay? I want to take as much questions. What we're discussing today was sensitive, and I want to take your questions. Yes, Peace has something to say. Peace, please, so talk.
I wanted to say that Isaac has something to say.
Okay. Isaac, granting you the room. We are having a room here, not a floor. So, but
Thanks for today's opportunity, and I'm very glad. I've taken a lot of cybersecurity classes, and I think this one is just like explaining to my standard, and I really appreciate it. I wanted to add something to what you said about ALS. Yes, of course, ALS is one of the programs that is helping Africa in terms of technology, because they have some goal that they want to raise young Africans to grow in tech. And I am a fellow, or I'm an alumni. I took the AI career class and the professional foundation class, and in fact, it was really good, and it was one of the programs that helps me to develop data analytics skills, and it's very intensive. And one good thing about them is that they always keep following up on you. Even after I completed my 2 programs, they refer me to one guy in Ghana called Phyllis, and he always check up on me whether I'm working or not. And recently, I was working with a manufacturing company as a plant engineer, assistant plant engineer. And he reached out to me, how am I doing over there? And I told him that I want to quit because I don't like the place as compared to what I have in mind in joining the cybersecurity. He said, okay, currently they are going to have a program. And last week, he was the one who linked me to some company, and I applied. And I'm supposed to have my, interview with them on Monday to see what comes out from it. So I think everyone should have the chance to join the if you have the it doesn't cost much. I think it's just $5. Initially, we didn't used to pay anything, but now you have to pay $5, and I think it will help everyone if you want to be in the tech community. Thank you. What I add for now.
thank you very much, Isaac. That was so good. I mean, you have got a testimony yourself. I thought you'd just be saying that it's me that is saying it. Now you heard Isaac yourself. I recommend everyone to go to ALX. Go to ALX, take their program. It's good. I recommend it. If I didn't recommend it, I'll not be going back there. I've been there before. I know what it built in me. Okay, go back there, look at their programs. It wouldn't cost you much, okay, compared to what you gain from it. It wouldn't cost you. I tell you, the community is wonderful. In the room, we have a lot of community programs there on a weekly basis, even for us who are not even in the program anymore. Recently, they were having AI for enterprise integrations just last week. I got the mail, though I didn't attend the event, but they are always sending out event notices, creating different events. Okay, so go back there. Sam is having a question. I think I'll take a question here from the group. Somebody asking. So
So must you be perfect in programming before you can be a cybersecurity expert? The answer is capital no. Capital no. There are several myths, make-believes that people have brought into cyber. That's not true. You don't need any knowledge, any prior knowledge of programming. None at all. Zero. Like zero. And I mean zero. I mean zero. You don't need any knowledge of programming to start cyber. However, programming helps you with automation because a lot of things in cyber are automated. You cannot be doing manual process all the time. So the skills you need for programming, which are the basic skills, you will be taught in the course of your certification. And it's not heavy. You're going to learn basic Python and you're going to learn SQL, the two most standard programming interfaces to use. And then you're going to learn how to use Linux, which is not a programming language, just an operating system. You can learn Bash, okay? Bash scripting along with Python, okay? And they're not difficult. Believe me, they're not difficult. In a couple of weeks, you can master it if you set your mind to it. So do you need prior knowledge of programming? No, you don't. Okay, you don't need prior knowledge of programming. All you need is just your determination to learn. So if you don't have any knowledge of programming, that's okay. If you want, I can take you through a Python course and you will master how to use Python for automation. It's okay, even scripting. I can teach you Bash scripting. I can teach you about Linux. I think Linux is one of the things next week we're going to have a Linux class. I'm going to be teaching you how to use Linux for Linux permissions and user privileges. Okay, so you see, it's not a difficult thing. Anybody can do it. Okay, anybody can do it. So Frederick, I'm hoping you have had your answer. Okay. Okay. Okay, give me answer your question. So what's your advice on someone who passes CCNE cyber ops, pursuing to be a SOC analyst and practicing on Let's Defend and packet, thank you, and packet tracer labs? What's my advice? Well, best PC, you're already doing a lot. You're doing a lot. All you need to do is concentrate your knowledge now, okay? The thing about information is there's this thing we call there's this syndrome that a lot of people suffer from. Okay. How do you even call it again? What happens is
Imposter syndrome.
Exactly, imposter syndrome. Thank you very much, please. I love you for that. Okay, there's imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're not qualified for something. Something is put before you and you're feeling like you don't know enough. So you want to try to know everything. You want to learn everything. I used to have that a lot, okay? I never seemed like I knew any enough because I normally have this perfectionist complex, okay? I've had to train myself over and over and over, catch myself doing the same thing over and over, okay? Where I always just feel like I don't know enough. Maybe I should not do this thing first. Let me go and do something. Let me go and learn enough again. I need to learn more. So I'm trying to gain knowledge here, gain resources here. I studied on Udemy. I have several courses on Udemy, by the way. If you need to study something and you think that you don't have finances to pay for it first, reach out to me. I'm sure I'll figure you something out. Okay. Like even ethical hacking you're talking about, I give you an ethical hacking lab entirely. So there are lots of information. You want to learn here, learn here. What that is just going to do for you, I have learned, okay? That's why I've chosen to focus on cybersecurity, irrespective of the several things I've done. I work as a graphic designer for different companies, even if I recently just ended working with the cybersecurity, the marketing company for design, product design in South Africa. And there's that like that. So touching things here and there is not going to help you. From me, I'm telling you from experience, it's not going to help you. Focus your mind. Focus your mind. Choose a field, focus on it. Okay. Stop touching things here and here. All those things are important, yes, but establish yourself in the field. As time passes, as you grow and improve in the field, you can now start getting more knowledge and information that you need on the job. Cybersecurity, you learn on the job. If I were you already, I'll already be having my job already. Believe me, I'm so much looking forward to it. Okay, I'm yet to break into the field because I'm still doing my certifications. But if I have these certifications you already have, believe me, I would already be working in the cyber field for that matter. Okay, you already have cyber ops and CNA. That is enough to get you into cyber, and then you learn on the job and get yourself analyst. I don't know what you're waiting for. I hope I did say something and you heard what I said. Sam, okay. Sam, talk to us.
Hello.
Yes, Sam, I can hear you. I'm sure all of us can hear you.
Hello. So thank you for this opportunity you've given to us. For me, currently I'm a university student in computer science and engineering. And
Congratulations.
And I developed the interest for cybersecurity. And yeah, so that was even what I wanted to do before the computer science, but that was what I had when I applied in the university. So now, when I got into the computer science later with this interest of cybersecurity, I went in for one of the free courses in cyberary.com, which I got to a part where I needed to upgrade. That's with payments, and I couldn't proceed. Then I also paid for this training that was on defensive security, because that was the part of cybersecurity I wanted. So I want to ask, do I need to learn everything about networking? Let's say we programming already. Let's say I'm an intermediate with Python. So do I need to learn everything about networking before I go into the penetration testing, or what do you recommend? Which way do you recommend me to go?
Okay, thank you, Sam. Firstly, your computer science background gives you. Okay. Thank you very much, Sam. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay, yes. Thank you. You can hear me. Thank you. So your computer science background gives you an advantage. Yes. Sorry. Your computer science background gives you an advantage, and you can leverage on that. Like, networking is good. You should know networking. You should be good at networking. Okay. But that much proficiency is not required for a startup. To the best of my knowledge, it's not. But it's good you get to do it. Okay. It's just recently that I decided to go to Cisco and look at their networking technician course. Okay. Prior to that, I had no knowledge of that, but it doesn't stop me from doing anything, because trust me, as an entry-level cybersecurity, nobody is going to give you permission to be configuring their firewall. Nobody is going to be doing that. So you're going to have a lot of analyst responsibility, bench monitoring, but nobody's going to give you their firewall to configure. Nobody's going to give you their employee database for you to manage their access. Nobody's going to do it. But you have to understand how they work. That's the thing. That's why they call it entry level, because you're supposed to understand how things work, the principle that binds everything. Knowing that it exists, or such a technology exists, and knowing how it works puts you ahead. It puts you, because then you learn more on the go. Like I said, one thing I'm trying to do is not let imposter syndrome stop me from doing a lot of things. Okay. And you shouldn't too. I don't advise you to. So what I think from what you should do is, you are into computer engineering. Yes, there's a difference between computer engineering and cybersecurity, not the same. So just go and just pick a cybersecurity course and start it. You're going to discover that a lot of the things you know, you don't need it in cybersecurity. That's the simple truth. a lot of the skills are transferable. Soft skills are transferable. Learning how to code, knowing how operating systems work and organization, learning how code to run on hypervisors, knowing how all of those are important. Yes, they're important. But is it required for you to start a career in cybersecurity? Absolutely not. Okay, it's not. It's not. Okay, so just pick a course. Start with, like you see the courses. Take IC squared in certified in cyber or Google certified, or just go to Camsha. Though Camsha recommends you start with something else, it's not a necessity. Okay, not a necessity. And if you're taking any of the Cisco courses you want, if you're so much concerned about networking, then take the Cisco set. I remember what the Bible says. It says that if you think that something is a crime to you, and then you don't do it, then it's really a sin. So if you really think that you need it and you're so much like fixated on getting a network course, then no issue at all. Go ahead, take a network course, okay? Take a CCNA or a CCNP course. Take a CCNA is faster to do, and the learning course, there are just 3 courses for CCNE, and the 3 courses are each 70 hours, so 210 hours of studies. You're good to go. So you see, just the program already I'm taking for cyber, I'm sure I've already covered more than 270 hours of learning already. And I'm still not even there yet. My next course I'm going to be dealing, and they said they're going to be covering, we're going to be covering using Python automation for cybersecurity. And I'm just like, oh, thank God. That one means that I already have like 30 hours off my plate, because already when it comes to Python, I'm pretty much good. So principally. Okay. So I think I'm sure I've answered your question. So just get some course and learn the basics of cybersecurity. You're going to learn about threats. You're going to learn about security management tools and works. You don't cover that in computer science, okay? You don't do that. But just take a course and do that. Like I said, your computer science background already gives you a lot of advantage, because a lot of the skills you are already knowing, you're going to use them. Okay. So that's what I would advise. I hope I have answered your question. Nelson, do you still have a question? You can unmute. Kelechi too, you can unmute. Anyone? Okay, Nelson is already up. Nelson, talk to me.
Yeah, hello, sir. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate this, because I am a mural artist. I do wall paintings, but I'm trying to transition into the tech world, because the world is going computerized and I want to position myself well. So I applied for our school Africa. I'm in my 2nd month actually. And I really appreciate joining this group, because I was kind of overwhelmed with a lot of things that I was doing, trying to couple it with work and all of that. And while in the class today, I could see that I have to figure out a system to read and prepare myself and grind myself into the system. So I'm happy I was in class today anyways. So I also wanted to ask, do I have to be an 100% professional, or I need to be very good before I can start applying for internship? Because I can tell that cybersecurity really focuses more on hands-on experience and certifications. Though I don't have any certifications at the moment, am I good enough to still apply for internships? That's what I want to find out.
Okay, Nelson. What I would say is that just focus on learning for now. It's just 2 months, right? Focus on learning. Give yourself some time to understand security terminologies. Get yourself grounded, okay? Give yourself some time. Normally, it's recommended that you're going to have to take about 6 months to 2 years to get yourself built up. Trust me, I've always broken every rule. I'm a master of breaking rules. Okay, I'm places where people say that somebody like me cannot be. I do think that people think that somebody like me cannot do. When I get to interact with people, they think that somebody like me can never meet. Okay, trust me, I've always had friends like that in places beyond the imaginable. I know that sometimes some of them just God that brings them, because I think that sometimes I can't qualify for something. But what I'm going to advise is that it's still too early. It's still too early. You're going to get yourself too overwhelmed. Okay, slow down. Patience. That's what I'll advise. Slow down. Patience. Get yourself grounded. Understand the basics. I always emphasize the importance of foundations. Get yourself grounded. You're an artist, okay? You're just coming into tech. Give yourself time to understand the tech field, okay? Give yourself time, study, take a lot of things. Try to incorporate technology into everything you're currently doing. That's what I would advise. Get yourself, I would say, get yourself at least one certification. Of course, tech is practical, okay? But if you want to stand out, get yourself at least one certification. Okay, I would strongly recommend it. That's for me though. And like I said, it's a recommendation, right? Okay. Kelechi, please on it.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ike.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to say thank you. I appreciate joining the class today. It's my first time of being here, and I just need to. I want to ask some questions to get clarified on what I'm doing. Okay. I'm just the only certification I have now is just secondary school, and I just finished M plus now. Started cybersecurity class this week. So I'm trying to ask. I don't know if is it a must that I need to do CCNA? I need to take CCNA class to take the to get the certificate before uh furthering into cybersecurity. And again, I would like to kind of know the roadmap I should take because like a lot of things there is just sounding like new things to me. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing there for now. Yeah.
Okay. Vicky, firstly, I would like to say that congratulations. You are still in secondary school and you're already thinking this forward. So that's a plus
No,
to you.
I finished secondary school.
Okay, you're finished. Okay. That's nice. So Kelechi, what I'll tell you is this. You don't necessarily need CCNA. Okay. Everything you're going to need concerning networks, you're going to study it in cyber. Okay. Which course are you taking currently in cyber?
We just started this week.
Which course? Which course?
I think it's the introduction to cybersecurity. That is where we think.
Which program are you taking? Where is it? Google? Is it our school?
Okay. No. It's Cisco.
Okay, Cisco. Okay,
Yeah.
that's nice. So I'm saying that you definitely for cybersecurity, CCNA is good. If you get it, it's good. But let it not be a limitation why you think you can't.
Okay.
Are you getting me clearly?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I am in no way discrediting any Cisco certification. I'm saying that they are very good, extremely good, and important. But I'm saying that it's not a do or die affair.
Okay.
Yes, if you get it, good. If you can do it alongside whatever thing you're doing, good, excellent. You get those certifications, it's good. Having those certifications all tied up to your portfolio is good. It gives you a lot of credibility. But I'm saying that let it not be a limitation why you don't want to, or you cannot do something, okay? It's not necessary. And since you're joining today, go through the video of the previous class, okay?
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that Kelechi is the last hand. I don't think there's anyone else again. Okay. All right. I think there's no other person. I'm sure everyone has been listening and learning. Ransford, I'm sure you learned a lot. And Oluwasegun, Israel, Oluwufela, Messiah. Hey, the Messiah I know is another Messiah. Where is Messiah? Messiah. unmute yourself and talk to us. Have you come to save us? Mezaya, unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. I can't take permission to unmute yourself. Okay, I don't think that Messiah is here to lift up. I don't think Messiah wants to actually talk. You can unmute yourself. I can take the permission to do that. Okay, so, okay, then thank you everyone once more again. So I think from over 50, over half people are gone. So thank you so much for coming in to join us today. And I hope you learned a lot. I have learned a lot. And thank you so much for always being here to study with us. And I look forward to talking with you again in subsequent classes or as an attendee. I'm not sure I'll be the one to take the next class, but we'll see how it goes, Sha. Okay. Do have a wonderful time. If there's any other further question, you can write me personally. Remember, go to use my handle, go to LinkedIn, and I think also I'll just post my LinkedIn handle. Go to LinkedIn, search for Philemon Tabufor, write me, and write a post concerning what you've learned, your next step, and tag me to it. Tag or say my learning journey into cyber, introduction to cybersecurity, and the lessons you have learned, your action steps, and how the course has made you better, and your impression about the course, your impression about me. You can tell all the good things about me there, and I'll say share. I don't mind. So, okay. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Peace. Yes. Share the grace for us now. Tell us.
Thank you everybody for joining. So, okay, before the weekend runs out, we'll drop a project topic for all of you so I can work on it during the course of the training sessions too before the main event. So before the weekend runs out, we'll come up with a project topic that you guys can work on. So that's it. So I would like to say a big thank you to everybody for showing up and staying up till this time. So good night, guys, and have a beautiful and fun-filled weekend. And also, if you want to watch movie, I would recommend Mr. Robots. Please go and watch that and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Are you up for watching? Are you up for watching with me?
You mean me? Yeah. This weekend I don't want to do anything. I just want to watch movie. So I'm already in the episode 3
I'm looking for a movie. I'm looking for a movie partner. Can you be my movie partner?
No problem, sir.
Okay. Biko, everyone, thank you so much again. Have a wonderful night and God bless you. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.